So I think you're going to find the first couple sections of Chapter 2 pretty easy, because I know it's stuff you've already done in the past. Everybody take a look at page 80. We're just going to open right up to the homework on page 80. You'll see something that looks like x minus 5 is equal to 3. Our job is to solve for x. How do you solve for x? Just put it on my desk. How do you get rid of that minus 5? You add 5. There's a rule in algebra that basically says you can do anything you want as long as you do what? Do the same thing to both sides. If you want to add 100, you are absolutely allowed to. But if I add 100 to the left side, I have to add 100 to the right side. Now, does adding 100 to the left side help us in this case? No, because we would get x minus 95. It doesn't get us closer to the answer. So the trick to these is just basically, what can I do to both sides that would help me get closer to the answer? And the answer is, I can add 5, because that's going to cancel that there, giving me just x. The only thing I have to remember to do is add 5 to both sides of that equal sign, keep my equation balanced. And the answer is x is equal to 8. Simple. All we're doing today are one-step equations. The only problems that I ever see people struggle with these are questions like number 10. And I don't really understand why people struggle. The only difference is the m is on the right side. Does it make any difference in your final answer if it says m equals here or if it says m equals there? No, it makes absolutely no difference. What's the only thing I have to do to get rid of that plus 36? Minus 36 from both sides. So, on the left side you have 42 minus 36 is 6. On the right side, those cancel, and you're just left with m. Some tips with these. Keep the equal sign right in line. Here's where it is vital. If you are one of those people that have been working left to right, page 80. If you're one of those people that work left to right on your paper, you have to stop that right now. The way you do these is you have to work down. And what I would always recommend you do, no matter what question you have, if you have question 40 where it says 2 equals d plus a quarter, on the next line, put the equal sign directly underneath where the other equal sign is. That will help you stay organized and you don't lose things. Well, what's the only thing I have to do? How do you get rid of a plus a quarter? You minus a quarter. So, yes, I don't know why I wrote a half. It'd be a quarter, right? What's 2 minus a quarter? Yet 1.75, or 1 3/4, right? Or that'd be the same thing as 7/4 or 1.75. I don't really care which of those three answers you give me. Just make sure you can get me the right answer. Easy enough? If I gave you all the way to 48 on that page 80, is there anything that you would struggle with? All look fairly easy? I know you've done stuff like this before, so that's why I'm not spending a ton of time going through these. All right, I also want you to look at page 87. These are the exact same types of questions. This says k divided by 4 is equal to 8. Well, how do you get rid of a divide by 4? You multiply both sides by 4. So, you multiply both sides by 4. That cancels that 4, giving me k. The answer is 32. Easy? Now, the types of questions on this one that I typically have people get wrong are not the first few. They're questions more like 14, where it says 15 is equal to 5/6 F. How do you get rid of a 5/6? How do you get rid of a times 5/6? How would you get rid of if this was just said 5? If it said 5F, you would divide by it. So how do you get rid of a times 5/6? Well, you're going to want to divide by 5/6, right? But dividing by a fraction, isn't there a better way to divide by a fraction? Oh, don't think decimals. Think instead of dividing by a fraction, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. Now, the easiest way I know of to multiply a number by a fraction, you could multiply first and then divide, like do 15 times 6. That's a big number. Then divide that by 5. That's tricky. Or you can divide first. What's 15 divided by 5? 3. What's 3 times 6? 18. The answer is F equals 18. Make sense? Those are usually the only ones that anybody on there gets wrong. How would you do number 4? It says 6 equals t over negative 5. You're going to multiply both sides by negative 5. So, what is 6 times negative 5? Negative 30. Easy? How would you do a question like number 10? How would you get rid of that negative 12? You're going to divide by negative 12. How would you do a question like 17 that says 1/10 is equal to 4/5 y? How do we get rid of a times 4/5? Multiply by the reciprocal. And then if you multiply by the reciprocal, now all you got to do is multiply across. You could cross reduce, right? That 5 and the 10 is going to turn into 2. What's the answer? One-eighth? All right. Easy? I don't think these are going to cause you a whole lot of difficulty. These are things you've all done in the past, yes? I think you can do the one-step equations fairly easy. I've seen you do them before, okay? I do want you to look at page 86 right now in that box. There is what we call the property of equality, and there's an addition property, there's a subtraction property and all that. But really that whole thing basically says, it basically says you can do anything you want to an equation. As long as you do what? As long as you do the same thing to both sides. I can multiply by 5/4. That's nice because it'll cancel, right? So I just got to do it to the other side. That's basically all that says. Okay? Easy stuff?